The more I see of Trump, the more I can't help but make Petruchio comparisons. For those resting their William Shakespeare, Petruchio was the male lead in Taming of the Shrew. Generally, other characters think of him as a big, dumb, loud, rich oaf who no one really respects. He dresses in shabby clothes on his wedding.
Sir, you know this is your wedding day? First were we sad, fearing you would not come. Now, sadder. Seeing that you come so unprovided. Fie, doff this habit, shame to your estate, an eyesore to our solemn festival.
And tell us, what occasion of import hath also long detained you from your wife, and sent you hither, so unlike yourself?
Tedious it were to tell, and harsh to hear. Sufficeth, I have come to keep my word. But where is Kate? I stayed too long from her, the morning wears, 'tis time we were at church.
Oh, see not your bride in these unreverent robes. Go to my chambers, put on clothes of mine instead.
Not I, believe me. Thus our visitor.
But thus I trust you will not marry her.
Good sooth, even thus. Therefore, have done with words. To me she is married, not unto my clothes.
And the most memorable scenes in the entire play involve him.
Buzzard take thee?
Aye, for a turtle, as he takes a buzzard.
Oh, come, you wasp. I faith you are too angry.
If I be waspish, best beware my sting.
My remedy, then, is to... pluck it out!
The fool can find it where it lies!
Oh, who knows not what a wasp doth wear his sting? In his tail!
Oh, in his tongue!
Whose tongue?
Yours, if you talk of tails, and so farewell.
Wait. What, with my tongue in your tail? Now, come again, good king. I am a gentleman.
That I try.
Oh!
Trump is a big, dumb, loud, rich oaf who no one really respects, has a shabby hairpiece, and the media loves to pay attention to him.
And some, I assume, are good people.
He contrasts with Lucentio, who is a prototypical Romeo type, who routinely engages in deception to make inroads. He initially poses as a tutor, but is all pretense to hook up while he orders his manservant to pose as him to formally bid for his girlfriend's hand.
Here, madam. Hic ibat Samoas, hic est Sagittellus, hic steterat priami regia salsa senis.
Conster them.
Hic ibat, as I told you before, Samoas, I am Lucentio. Hic es son unto Vincentio of Pisa. Sagittellus, disguised thus to get your love. Hic steterat, and that Lucentio that comes a-wooing. Priami is my Mantronio. Regia, bearing my port. Salsa senis, that we might beguile the old pantaloon.
I would go so far as to say Clinton is Lucentio in this paradigm. She's the prototypical politician who everyone expects to do extremely well. She doesn't make gaffes and always comes across as in charge. Everyone knew that her appointment as Secretary of State was to placate her supporters and serve as a jumping-off point to another presidential bid. She's highly secretive and many people think she's a liar to gain favor.
Hillary Clinton has long been touting her experience, but questions are being raised now about whether she's done some embellishing of her record. Here's investigative correspondent Cheryl Atkinson.
It was supposed to be an example of Hillary Clinton's battle-tested experience.
I remember landing under sniper fire.
In the speech last week, Senator Clinton was referring to her visit to Tuzla, Bosnia in 1996 as First Lady. The brutal war was over, but hostilities continued. And though the trip was exactly 12 years ago tomorrow, the memories seemed etched in Clinton's mind.
There was supposed to be some kind of a greeting ceremony at the airport, but instead we just ran with our heads down to get into the vehicles to get to our base.
Those are the decisions that are made by the president. We did try, without success because of the Libyans' obstruction to our efforts. Because of the Libyans' obstruction to our efforts. We are standing with the people of Libya, and we will not waver in our efforts to protect them.
We came, we saw, he died.
In Libya, the U.S. intelligence community has said it's around 4,000 to 6,000. It is probably about doubled in the last 12 to 18 months.
Bill, of course, is the manservant, negotiating in situations where she cannot, such as with a highly unprofessional meeting with Loretta Lynch.
I did see the president at the Phoenix airport the other night. As I was landing, he was headed out. He did come over and say hello and speak to my husband and myself and talk about his grandchildren and his travels and things like that. So that was the extent of that. And no discussions were held in any cases or anything of that. And he didn't raise anything about that either.
All right, Paula, so that sounds fairly innocuous, but irregardless of that, is it disconcerting to have the Attorney General who's conducting this federal investigation, talking to Bill Clinton about this? Even if it's, there seems to be a sense of impropriety here.
Vlad, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. The most high-profile national security investigation under the Attorney General is the investigation into whether or not classified information was mishandled in connection with Hillary Clinton's server. Now, President Clinton and his foundation is also tangentially involved in that investigation, so the appearance of impropriety is just stunning. Now, this was not a scheduled meeting. He just boarded her plane. He says, according to his aides, that he just extends this courtesy to certain dignitaries. But again, this is the most high-profile national security investigation in the country. Loretta Lynch is no shrinking violet. This is a tough lady. She has stood up to El Chapo. She has taken on FIFA. She is not incapable of telling someone, look, you can't come on my plane, or look, I don't want to talk to you. The optics of this for the investigation going forward are horrible.
So what happens at the end of the play? The husbands hold a wager as to whose wife is most obedient. Everyone expects Petruchio to lose because Katherine is a terrifying brute, and everyone expects Lucentio to win because Bianca seems level-headed. To everyone's surprise, but not the audience because we had to sit through Acts 2 through 4, Petruchio wins and is recognized as his wife's master, while Lucentio is disappointed and irritated at Bianca's stubbornness.
That cap of yours becomes you now. Throw it underfoot.
Lord, let me never have a cause to sigh. Will I be brought to such a silly pass? Fie, what foolish duty call you this?
I would your duty were half as foolish. The wisdom of your duty, sweet Bianca, hath cost me 100 crowns since supper time.
The more fool you for laying on my duty.
The wives, of course, are the voters. Katherine is the Trump supporters, which the media depicts as racist, ignorant monsters, and Bianca is the mainstream Democrats. They seem rational and calm on the surface, but when actually challenged, turn into their most obtuse partisans. What's the lesson to be learned? The first is to not underestimate Trump, which the Republicans did at their peril. Now they're stuck with him. The second is to honestly reassess Clinton, both the candidate and her voters, and, resolve to do better than cover up those mistakes. While the recent CBS poll showing a tie may be an outlier, it still doesn't make up for Clinton's declining favorability rating. Real Clear Politics puts her mean score at negative 17.7%, as in around 50% don't like her, and she's a serious candidate. Well, maybe she'll be able to boost her poll numbers up after the convention.